Hey, welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I've got a box of a 93 Flair. So this is a pretty big deal because this was, back in the days when premium sets really were new. This is in the day of, Finest just coming out. So this is Flair's answer to what Topps is doing, what Upper Deck was doing since '89. But this is like kind of the ultra premium set. Unfortunately for this set, it missed the biggest rookie, pretty much a lot of the 90s, which was Derek Jeter. It could have been an epic set if it had the Jeter. Does not. So, but we'll look at it. I think it's important to kind of just go back and look at this set and how nice the cards were. There were some really cool inserts in this set. Wave of the Futures. So again, I think some of these sets, some of these inserts do kind of hold up, and kind of show you how, this set was also, I consider, the first set to really start the, let's say, excess packaging craze. So you can see it's a box, and then you open it up, and it's a bunch of more boxes, right? And this kind of gets you the box inside the box motif you see today, and even the boxes are wrapped. So again, I think this started the whole kind of extra packaging, non-sustainability packaging you see today. I mean, nowadays you got tons of wrappers for maybe 10 cards or 5 cards or 1 card. Yeah, I'm glad that sports cards doesn't have to sell to Amazon or some of these other Walmarts that have these sustainability initiatives where you can't have all this excessive packaging, because yeah, it just doesn't look as nice. But here's the really, I call this the first premium packaged card ever. Because you got to remember, 93 Upper Deck, or sorry, 89 Upper Deck was fairly plain packaging. 91 Stadium Club was just cellophane wrappers. Even 93 Finest was just basically a full wrapper. So this was that first kind of like, oh my god, these cards are going to be a mega nice, super premium. Look at this packaging. And then, they missed out on the biggest rookie, the decade, and, the set kind of got forgotten. But, as you open it up, you got pack inside of a pack. And so this will be a lot of really cool players, but value-wise, the base cards are worth very little, even though they're super premium looking. Starting out with Don Slott, one of the nice Pirates catchers back in the day. Dave Winfield, nice Hall of Famer. Albert, Don't Call Me Joey Bell. Jim Abbott. So really nice players. Rick Aguilera, Cal Eldred, Eisenreich, Howard Johnson, and Delano DeShield. So you can see how the set was designed. This is like full bleed, no borders, gold etching. Sorry, I keep hitting the camera. Double photos on the front, another action photo on the back. So from a quality standpoint, this was a major leap forward in quality for a lot of reasons. Just having all these multiple photos. It's just, the set itself looked amazing back in 93. This was, and a lot of people in 93 really took the time to try and put this set together. I remember as a kid trying to do that, just because the cards were such a cool looking cards. We really didn't know much about, value back in the days in terms of what would hold value, what would not hold value. If you think about it, it was like what looked cool, and these cards definitely look cool. They were in a set that looked cool. There was just so much about this that could have been awesome. But again, David Wells, John Wetland, Darren Lewis, Carlos Baerga, Kent Herbeck, Pat Listash, Tom Gordon, Mike Stanton, Mike Lansing, and here's a cool card, Mike Piazza. And this card back in 93, you gotta remember his rookies in 92, but a lot of his 92 rookies were in update sets, and the Bowman set was normal, but there wasn't a lot of cards of Piazza. And this was, again, a high-end Mike Piazza card back in 93. It was a nice card to pull back in the day. So that would have been a good hit. Back in 93, you'd have probably had a card worth 15, 20 bucks maybe. Would have paid for a lot of your packs. You'd have been happy. You'd, been high-fiving your dad. I would have been. So, yeah, I mean, this was what was fun back then. I mean, back then, getting good players versus inserts was still a big deal. Inserts did take over, even for me. I mean, I know I was really into inserts around this time. Right around 94, 95 is when it really took off for me. But, yeah, I mean, having something a little more limited was a big deal. So here is Phil Plantier, Cal Eldred again. I think that's the second one of him. Damian Easley, Scott Fletcher, Ben McDonald, Jose Rijo, who's an awesome pitcher, Ryan Sandberg, again, Terry Pendleton. So there's another really cool Hall of Famer. And you can just see, and these cards do not stick together. And that's something you see quite often in these sets back in these days. In, these full bleed, kind of real glossy cards. So Flair had some kind of trick, or maybe this box is stored really well, but I've seen Stadium Club boxes come out as bricks. You saw my 98 metal box opening where everything was a brick. So again, these cards are definitely not stuck together. Hall of Famer Lee Smith, Dave Stewart, Dean Palmer. Oh, upside down card. Kenny Lofton, who was awesome for a lot of years. Oh, Cal Ripken Jr. Look at that. I mean, I just think the cards are just super, super nice. Paul O'Neill, Pedro Munoz, Jeff Oliver, Darren Dalton, Bobby Bonilla. And again, I think we could all say that if they would have made some sort of very, let's say, parallel set for this, for this product, they would have, done something and had the Jeter. I mean, this set would be epic. 93 SP, and this set would be on par, I think, if people would have had the big inserts or had, the big rookie. It just missed. It could have been, one of the best sets of all time. And you could say the same thing for 93 Finest. I mean, let's be honest. Even though that set's amazing, due to that parallel set that it had, not having, Derek Jeter in that set, is a huge, huge miss on that part as well. Andy Van Slyke, cool. I love Andy Van Slyke. All right, so here is the first insert, Tidal Waves, David McCarty. Yeah, this guy was supposed to have been a stud. I'm not sure. I bet if you looked on his stats, and I'm not sure he'd have a 10 WAR for his career. I'm not sure he played enough to get that. So, yeah, not a great player. Jimmy Key, Deion Sanders, and Danny Jackson. So, not a lot of big studs in that pack. We got our first insert. You saw the Tidal Waves. And it's another thing, too, that, how underwhelming that insert set looks. Looking at the back here, look for 20 different Wave of the Future cards. Or sorry, that's Wave of the Future, not Tidal Waves. I don't know what I was thinking. They're 1 in 4 packs. So, not that rare. So, yeah. I believe there's a Mike Piazza Tidal Wave. Or, sorry, I don't know what to keep calling it. Tidal Wave. Wave of the Future. We'll pull that out just to have it up there, just so everyone can see what that card looks like. Yeah, there it is. David McCarty, Wave of the Future. They're the first insert. Again, these inserts, missed out on the big stud. So there isn't a lot of value in them, but I think there is a Mike Piazza. So then I think that has a little value to it. Phil Plantier, Cecil Fielder, Jack Curtis, Roger Clemens. Let's see, awesome looking Clemens. Brady Anderson, Kevin Mitchell, Chuck McElroy, and David Justice. The floating head David Justice. Ooh. Floating head. Yeah, that's kind of weird looking. Where the rest of them are kind of attached to a body, that's doing another thing. They just decided to put David Justice on a head by himself. Like, hey, I dated Halle Berry. I'm cool. Yeah, well, definitely cool. Cooler than me, that's for sure. All right. Flair in the house. A lot of packaging. 2 wrappers, a box. Again, just a lot of stuff to get through to get to the cards. Obviously, there's Griffey's and Thomas in this set, as base cards, so definitely want to pull them. Carlos Garcia, Tony Gwynn, another Hall of Famer. Kurt Schilling, Kevin Napier, Derek Lilliquist, Kurt Gibson, Alex Fernandez, Luis Gonzalez, Jack Armstrong, and Chris Jones. And that's another thing about the set. It's 300 base cards. I mean, this was a big set. This wasn't like, a 100 card base set like you see today with a bunch of inserts and parallels. I mean, it was like a big base set. There's the Gwen. This started to be kind of chubby Gwen. You saw when I pulled a 98 insert of him. You saw like some big differences between Gwen, what he looked like, and rookie Gwen versus kind of like mid-career Tony Gwynn. He started to get a little beefy around this time period. Didn't really hurt his hitting though, that's for sure. So back on. So early Edgar Martinez. So I think that card's really cool. I think any, players like that don't have tons of inserts back when they were kind of earlier in career, I think some of their awesome playing cards like that are fun to collect. Ruben Sierra, back when he was with the A's. Bernard Gilkey. Oh, there's a Kirby Puckett. David McCarty playing card. Bill Spires, Wally Joyner, Bobby Bonilla, Moses Alou, Brett Butler. Nothing awesome there. So we haven't hit any of the big, let's say, Bonds, Griffey, Thomas. We've hit the Ripken, hit the Piazza, so that's good. Hopefully we can get one of the, one of each of the main base cards. Because in all honesty, I bet, in terms of value, I bet the PSA 10 of those base cards are probably worth more than most. It's Jeff King, Mitch Williams, Will Clark. Sorry, I try to keep the glare off. These cards are very glare intensive. John Dougherty, Mike Henneman, Isaac Ian, Chuck Feenley, Benito Santiago. That guy almost could be a Hall of Famer. David Need, and Bip Roberts. So, yeah, David Need was supposed to have been a big stud as well. Again, take it with a grain of salt. That's the one thing I always remember about the 90s that a lot of people is that how often the big time rookies in these sets panned out, which was almost never. Like today, when you see these rookies in sets, I mean, let's say you got Soto, Cunha, Roberts, you got all these big time studs in these rookie sets, base tops and all that. And, a lot of them do pan out. I mean, a lot of them do become pretty good players. It's just amazing how in the 90s, very few of the heralded, these, rookies that were supposed to have been, the guys panned out. And then you had, Mariano Rivera and, Edgar Martinez and players that, weren't, when they first came up, considered big time players, and they were the Hall of Famers and not the, Ben Greaves of the world, right? Tim Salmon, Robbie Thompson, Darryl Kyle, another Andy Van Slyke, Chili Davis, Scott Cooper, Mike Devereaux, Jim Abbott again, Mike Morgan, Mark Lemke, Tommy Green. That was fairly bad pack in terms of players. I guess Andy Van Slyke would have been my favorite, being a Pirates fan, which reminds me of how awful they are today. And it's just, I watched a game yesterday. It's embarrassing. It really is. I mean, I understand rebuilding and sucking and getting the number one picks, but I mean, it's when you see Garrett Cole and Glasnow playing against each other yesterday with different teams, I mean, it's just, even when they draft well, they just throw the guys away. I mean, they got nothing for Glasnow. Very minor return, I think, for Cole, even though, say, Musgrove is, an okay starter, but I mean, they gave up one of the best pitchers in baseball to get, just a okay starter. And so here's where you would say, back in the day, that would have been, the hit of the break. Tim Salmon, Way with the Future. He was the big stud. Like the guy that you would want to hit. So, Jack McDowell. Love Jack McDowell. Scott Anderson, Vaughn, Willie Blair, Rob Dibble, oh man, and Mark Grace. So again, these cards are really prone to scratching. That's one thing that's bad about this set. And why high grade, this is a really difficult set to grade. Even coming out of packs, these cards scratch so easily. That full bleed. These cards are almost soft. Like when you feel them, they almost have like a soft texture to the cards, and so you can just just scratch them by looking at them. So I can see why PSA 10s of these cards are pretty hard to get, just because of that issue of scratching. There's Pat Borders, Jose Canseco, Scott Bozio, and then there is the hit of the draft. So this is probably the biggest card in the whole set. The Mike Piazza Wave of the Futures insert. And again, it's not like, I mean, if you think about it, this is really lazy design. I mean, they took a photo and put it on the back of a wave. I mean, the little curled thing there. I mean, that's, again, this is why this set, I mean, for all the technology that's on hand to make the cards look amazing, the one insert set that they came up with, they just kind of mailed it in. And, this is where I think execution is in little things. So Bo Jackson with the White Sox, that's a very cool card. Eric Anthony, Alex Arias, and Dante Bichette. Again, there's no question that the technology and the quality of these cards were better than 99% of the stuff, 99.9% of what was on the market. You could argue that this card and Finest, from a just like aesthetics and technology in them and all the things that were new to the market, that you can even argue maybe they're even a little bit on par. But you take the refractors for Finest, and that set just blows this away in terms of just how cool they were at the time, and just parallels like that just didn't really exist that often. In terms of just the whole card being completely different looking under light. And this set, even with all the technology in the base cards and all the coolness of the base cards, they just mailed it in, with the inserts, and that really hurt the value. Tim Wakefield, back when he was with the Pirates. Very cool. Lou Whitaker. Ooh. Another Canseco. Oh man, we're going to play the upside down game now. Jimmy Key. Okay, Kent Herbeck. Pat Listash. John Kruk. Jose Vizcaino, and Dennis Martinez. So again, we haven't hit Thomas or Griffey or Bonds. But we hit the Mike Piazza Wave of the Future, which is the best insert probably in the whole set. So that's cool. And the salmon. So I mean, I guess, you know, like I said, back in the day, we would have been really happy with what we got so far. We would have been like, okay, best rookie insert, Tim Salmon, Mike Piazza, check. Mike Piazza base, check. We're feeling good about ourselves. Okay, looks like another Lee Smith, Dave Stewart, Dean Palmer, John Jaha, Billy Hatcher, Greg Olson, Don Mattingly, Sammy Sosa, John Smoltz, John Kruk. So again, you know, Smoltzy, show you the Mattingly. Mattingly's a cool card. So yeah, you get a lot of cards in here. I mean, you're talking, is it 24 packs in this thing? Let me look. If it says anywhere here. 24 packs, yeah. So 24 packs. And you get 10, so you get 240 cards. So should get at least 60-70% of the base set. So you needed about 3 boxes probably to complete a set back in the day. Based on collation, that was probably about as good as Topps. Alright, there's the checklist. And this checklist is like Palmero on the back. So Royce Clayton, Derek Bell, and if that said Jeter, wouldn't that be amazing? Tino Martinez, Kevin Napier, Carlos Baerga again, John Doherty, Peter Martinez, and this guy was still really young. It's an early card of him, Indahar Cedeno, and Orestes Destrada. So yeah, looks like we're about halfway through the box. Ooh, this pack is severely damaged. That's going to be fun. Let's see what these cards look like. Jay Bell right on top. He was a great Pirate. I think he played really well for the Diamondbacks for a few years as well. Good player. A lot of good years. Looks like we got one, maybe, I don't know, not a really big smash corner. I don't think it looks too bad. Jay Bell, Bob Wickman, Rod Beck, Scott Cooper, Cecil Fielder, Ellis Burks, Chili Davis, Chris Hammond, Joe Girardi, man, it's cool to see that guy as a player, and Hal Morris, yeah. So many, it's so weird to see how many of these players are now coaches. So, no Thomas, no Griffey, no Bonds. It's almost like the whole thing's been searched, but if this would have been searched, obviously the Piazzas would have been gone. You know, I don't think at any time where the Piazza is not part of this set in terms of value, so I don't think. And think about how much packaging it would take to do that, and repackaging. Juan Gonzalez, Norm Charlton, Goose Gossage. Wow. David Cohn, Scott Livingston, another Bo Jackson, Luis Polonia, Gary Sheffield, Eric Young, and Chris Sabo. Wow. Nice Sabo. I have a friend of mine who's a big Sabo collector. Yeah, there's those. They exist. People collect about anything. All right. Moving on. Yeah, this is just a lot of packaging. not sustainable friendly. Donovan Osborne, I mean, that guy was he was a big time prospect. I remember, growing up in Oklahoma, like, my dad's a Cardinal fan. Ooh, another Wave of the Future. Another Mike Piazza. Look at that. Tom Henke. So, double fisted. Oops. Mike Piazza. Wave of the Future. Look at that. 2 Mike Piazza Wave of the Futures. Fernando. Hey, look at that. With the Orioles. I'm just kind of curious. So he played that previous year with the Angels, where he was 0-2. The 12.15 ERA. Before that, his last year with the Dodgers, 13-13 with a 4.59 ERA. So Fernando Mania was on its way down, but still cool to see a card with him as an Oriole. Alan Trammell. There's the Big Hurt. And that is such a cool card. I mean, just these cards were very cool. Look at that card. That is a beautiful card. Beautiful card. Big Hurt. All right. Hall of Famer Craig Biggio, Chuck Ward, and Gerald Clark. So we hit one. So that was a great pack, man. Like a Frank Thomas and a Mike Piazza, Wave of the Future. For the economics of this set, it's almost as good as you can do right there. I mean, wow. You have to be impressed with that pack. On to oh man, having some issues getting the pack open now. All right, it's like so much packaging. Here we go. Another wave. All right, getting our 6 waves on the row, all in a row right here. Here we go. Norm Charlton. Another Goose Gossage. Another Lee Smith. That's the 3rd Lee Smith. All right. Another Frank Thomas. Look at this. Alan Watson. Okay. Remember him. Another Big Hurt. 2 Frank Thomases back to back. We're hitting them now, buddy. Travis Snow. JT Snow. Frank Viola. Got Andres Galarraga. Chuck McElroy and Kevin Mitchell. Now, I think Nolan Ryan should still be in the set, too. Back in the day, I think he was still active, and so there's no reason we can't get a Nolan Ryan from the set, which would be awesome as well. I'm sure that card looks beautiful. That's the thing. Like, I mean, if somebody put the base set of this together, I'm sure it's not going to be very expensive, but it's going to look awesome. Here we go. Fred McGriff, Orlando Merced, Walt Weiss, Mike Devereaux, Chris Hoyles, Wade Boggs. That's the first Boggs I've got. Jim Deshaies. Ooh, Greg Maddux. It's a cool card. Dave Hollins, Joe Orslack. So, doubling up on the Big Hurt. All right, we're down to our final 4 packs. Don't have a Griffey. It's going to hurt me if I don't get a Griffey. Just would love to get a base Griffey. I actually don't think I even have that in my collection. I wasn't paying much attention to base cards. It's not like I can't find a Griffey in this. I'm sure if I went on eBay, I could find one. Pretty easy, but it'd just be cool to pull one. All right, Dave Stewart, Dean Palmer, Tino Martinez, Daryl Whitmore, Wave of the Future. So we're supposed to get 6 Wave of the Futures, and that is 4, 5. That's the 6th one. So here we go. There's our 6 waves on the nose. Matt Noakes, David McCarty again, Bill Spires, Mariano Duncan, Dwight Gooden, Greg Colburn. Okay. 3 packs left. Are we going to get the Griffey? Should I be happy with my double Piazzas and Frank Thomases? I probably should, but I want the Griffey. Totally want the Griffey. Cards that make me hurt when I see them. This card's like the last card in this pack. Looks like a Palmeiro checklist again. Bryce Clayton. Derek Bell. I keep wanting to hope that was Derek Jeter. Look at that. An extra wave of the future. That's a Manny Ramirez. Look how young he looks. My gosh. Now, before all the issues, that would have been a cool card too. Mean Ram. Darryl Hamilton. There's a George Brett. That is a cool Hall of Famer. Another Albert Bell. Marquise Grissom. Romo Martinez. And the card that hurts me is to see a Doug Drabeck as a Astro. I know he didn't have a great career after he left the Pirates, but still, I think he was solid for another 2 years. But, you know, he was such an iconic Pirate. I think he was the last Cy Young Award winner from the Pirates. Just, yeah, sucks to see one of your heroes as a kid leave your team. And then obviously later on we lost Barry Bonds, and you know, it just all fell apart for many, many years after that. Bob Welch, Ray Langford. Look at this. This is Juan Guzman. Look at this. Now this is. Sorry, I keep hitting the camera. Kind of crammed in here a little bit, but look at that. That card is horribly, horribly damaged. Jim Edmonds, a good player. But yeah, that is a terrible, terrible card. Middle of the pack. Obviously got caught up in some equipment. Bill Spires, Ollie Joyner, Jose Mesa, Larry Walker, Tim Walk, and Doug Jones. One pack left. Are we going to hit the Griffey? Are we going to be disappointed? Will I be disappointed? You know, I would trade the Frank Thomas for a Griffey. Yeah, I would. However, you know, it's better to hit something than nothing. And right on the front of this pack, we've got Nolan Ryan. There he is. There is the Ryan Express, first card in the pack. I guess I could have graded the pack. Kept the Ryan up front. And, all right. Well, maybe there's a Griffey in this pack too. We'll see. All right. There's the Nolan Ryan. Sweet, sweet Nolan Ryan. All right. Omar Vizquel. Bobby Witt. Another wave. Look at this. Brad Pennington. This is the 9th wave of the future, including the damaged one. Paul O'Neill. Pedro Munoz. BJ Surhoff. Darren Dalton. Bobby Bonilla. Moses Alou. No Griffey out of all that. Oh, hurts. But, you know, from an insert perspective, so putting my 1993 hat on, I would have been like, look at that. I pulled. Look at those piazzas there. I'll clean them up in a minute, but oh my gosh. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wave of the futures, and I should have got 6. I pulled a Piazza base, 2 Frank Thomases, a Ripken, a Ryan, a Gwynn, some random Hall of Famer. So there you go. That's a box of 93 Flair. Inaugural edition, one of the highest end products of the time. You kind of see what it looked like back in the day to open this product. I think it would have been considered a monster box back in the day. Sans the Griffey, so I think I did really well. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.